Hello and welcome in, all you O-Niners, PCHers, junior private detectives, Neptune pirates, really racist school teachers, and most of all, people hiding cash boxes in ball pits to Life on Mars, the Veronica Mars Rewatch podcast where we go through episode. My name's Brendan.
I'm Emily.
And we're here to talk about season 2, episode 13, Ain't No Magic Mountain High Enough. You get it.
Mm-hmm.
The show. Not the show. The song. And the theme park.
So a lot of this episode centers around where they're going for their senior trip.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you go for your senior trip?
So, senior trip. Yeah, we went to Magic Mountain. Yeah.
You didn't go to Disneyland?
That was grad night.
Wait, you got 2 of these?
Yeah.
God, what was it like to grow up in a wealthy neighborhood? Tell me more.
Well, you got to go to Magic Mountain, and then at the end of the week, you went to...
the same week?
Yeah. And you know what's even better? 75% of my friends didn't go. So, like, luckily, the people... I, knew people. I wasn't, super close with them, but they were very nice and brought me into their friend group, and, I got to hang out with them for the rest of the day because none of my other friends really went. My really close friends. Not to say the rest of them weren't friends. They were very nice, and I was already friends with them, but, just not hanging out on a daily basis, and so I was kind of flying solo.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. We did a senior trip and grad night. Grad night was at Disneyland.
So usually we did Disneyland grad night, but it was always so crowded, and so part of the problem was
insane.
Was that our school was so far away that that's a 4-hour drive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was they never got there on time. It was always
Totally.
you were stuck in line forever and all that shit.
Yeah, I can corroborate on that. So it was lucky for us. It was 45 minutes, 50 minutes, I think is the distance there. And then you waited in security lines for 2 hours to get in, and then by the time you were in, all the rides were literally at 120-minute wait times, across the board for all the good ones. So you were just waiting in line for a lot of it, but they had weird dance stages everywhere. It was pretty surreal being at Disneyland at 2 a.m. and just having the rest of it all be high school kids. But
we did Six Flags. We were the first class to do Six Flags because everyone else had complained about Disneyland. I was pretty mad about this. But we went and they were piloting it for a grad night. So apparently they'd done daytime things, but they'd never done the overnight thing before.
What is this for?
Grad night for Six Flags.
Six Flags. Okay, sorry.
So they were piloting it, so we got a really good discount, and there were maybe 6 other schools there.
Oh, that's so nice.
And our my graduating class had 300 kids, maybe 400, and they were all pretty I don't know how big the other schools were, but there were no fucking lines.
That's amazing.
My friend Marlena and I at one point rode the carousel because we were so tired. We were just we can at least lean against the pole here.
Uh-huh.
I fell asleep outside of Viper for a little bit, but
Nice.
it was actually really fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
But it still wasn't Disneyland. It wasn't the same.
Yeah.
It was you never got that same experience. And then we had Sober Grad, but we didn't have another senior trip. And Sober Grad was technically 3 because the continuation school.
Gotcha.
All 3 of the local high schools had an event at the fairgrounds.
Oh, kind of like this.
And they
in
had,
the show?
yeah, and they had but it was more there were some blow up slides, and it was just for us. There was no one. It was just high school seniors,
Right?
because it was the night after whatever graduation was on the Friday. So the 2 schools switched off who got the bowl on which day.
Cool.
Every other year it was a whole thing,
Right, because
they shared one bowl.
Uh-huh.
And so it was after the rival school's graduation, not mine. And so it was the Friday night after, so the kids didn't go out because we had a lot of drunk driving issues. Sober grad,
Yeah. Just to jump in real quick. Yeah, my class was the first class allowed back to Disneyland after Carlsbad getting banned for multiple years before then.
Nice.
Yeah. So I don't think my sister went because I'm pretty sure they were banned.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Or if it wasn't my sister's year, it was my sister's year that it got banned.
We know it was her.
Yeah. Yeah, she was carting in drugs.
Yep. But Oh, but so we had sober grad and we had like the blow up slides and shit and a hypnotist and all that shit. But it was just like high school seniors running around the fairgrounds with like one set of blow up slides that wasn't set up correctly. So then someone came by while I was on the top of it, and same friend Marlena, and they knocked it over while we were on the top of it, and we got crushed by the slide.
Yeah, that's a really bad idea.
But I won a Wii.
There you go. That's worth it in and of itself.
A decade-old Wii. So if you or anyone in your life is looking for a Wii, my mother still has it.
There you go. Get your Wii Sports on.
I doubt it still works.
Why wouldn't it?
I don't know.
Is it in box, or is it just like floating around somewhere?
It's probably naked.
I feel like those machines are probably pretty resilient.
I don't know where any of the controllers are either, but I don't think
that might be an issue.
that matters,
Yeah, sensor bar.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, it wasn't really, it's Disneyland, but it's like not Disneyland because there's 30 other kids that, not kids, that'd be amazing, 30 other schools, all at the same time. Yeah. So it's like a full day at the park, but at 2 a.m. So you're kind of slightly delirious.
I want to be in Disneyland in the middle of the night.
Gotcha. With a bunch of DJ stages playing like top 40 mashups?
No. Well, when we have our Disney wedding.
Oh, that's what we'll have.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's basically if you do the evening one, it's it has to be after the park closes. So we are having our wedding in the middle of the night.
We'll piggyback on the senior night.
Yeah, we
Mind if we cut in?
We reserve the castle.
Right. Isn't this weird? The DJ like cut and they're like playing like wedding music or something. It's this weird stage up over there near Small World.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I feel like I would have done great at that because the only rides like I need to ride in Disneyland or boat rides.
Yeah, Pirates was still like
120.
Yeah, at least above an hour. I waited in line for a very long time.
But it's worth it every time.
Yeah. Me and Mike had waited, what were we waiting in? Like Space Mountain for like forever. And then eventually we were just like, you know what, screw this. And then we just left. So we just patrolled the park, ran into random people.
Yeah. And was food open?
Yeah, they had random food stuff. Yeah. Not the food that you would normally have. They had like new kiosks like set up to like buy like things or the carts. So
less fun.
Yeah. But
enough about our senior nights.
Yes, but I will say will always be with Weevil on Magic Mountain is preferred to going to Catalina Island.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But why wasn't Disneyland in the equation here?
I don't know. That does seem weird. Maybe because they want something more private. Because these kids are the kids that are leading, like Madison Sinclair, the 09ers, like Richie Riches, are like, no, I'm not doing that. Mm-hmm. We're not going to theme parks, and we speak for the school as the rich minority.
And I guess stereotypically, like if the people who like to ride roller coasters aren't necessarily Disney fanatics,
right?
So it's a different breed.
Totally. But yeah. Yeah. Do we want to jump in?
Yeah.
Okay. So we begin in, God, what was the teacher's name? I completely lost her name. As I look away from.
I never write her name down.
Yeah, because she's just the worst.
I want to count how many times I wrote in my notes, why is this woman allowed to teach?
Yeah. But they're in her classroom getting stuff ready for the carnival, getting signs there, but also simultaneously she has like a detention going on.
I thought it was like a study, like a free period study hall.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's just that she's letting, like in study hall, she's letting the kids that are on like the PEP like committee or whatever, ASB do things. Uh-huh. But everyone else is studying for the test in her class.
Right. And Madison Sinclair is back. Hello, welcome. You're awful. With a person that is 0.3 of a point behind Veronica for the Kane Scholarship, and Veronica pulls the ultimate power move of, who are you again? Mm-hmm. And we have no idea who he is, but it's like, you're in this episode. You're going to probably turn out to be a villain. It's kind of like the thing with Star Trek and red shirts. Like red shirt, if you're wearing a red shirt, you're probably going to die.
What?
Yeah, but I don't know how well that holds up across multiple series. But
I've never watched Star Trek really. I mean, like I've caught bits of it.
Yeah, I have nowhere near the exhaustive knowledge of it, but I know that's like a common thing to pull from it, because it'd be like, oh, who's this random person in a red shirt on this episode? Like, you're gonna if something bad happens, you're first to go.
Oh.
And so instead of that, we have random people calling out Veronica, and it's just like, you're gonna end up being a villain.
Mm-hmm.
So, but more on Mr. Second Place later.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're talking about the carnival. Are they raising money for the senior trip? Weevil, who is in study hall, not detention, raises his voice to be like, we should be going to Magic Mountain, not Catalina. And we all go, yay, Weevil, make Weevil ASB president if he wants to run.
I mean, he does have leadership skills. He ran a bike gang
collective,
well, a motorcycle collective.
I mean, if not to be like the counterpoint on this political talk show as a pundit here, but if you look at his track record, they completely deserved him and pulled a coup. So what does that say about his leadership skills?
Nothing. It says that he has bad recruitment.
Oh, okay. He put people in positions of power that were only upward moving. They were trying to take his spot.
He was so powerful that people were so intimidated that they had to overthrow him.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a strange one, though. I can't imagine an entire bike gang turning on someone.
You know, stranger things has happened.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Motorcycle collective, or what did you call them? Coalition.
Motorcycle coalition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just a nice group of boys, and they ride their bikes.
Look at their their homepage. That's what they say today. Homepage.
Yeah. I've never been to Catalina Island, but I can't imagine it would be exciting for a bunch of 18-year-olds.
No, I don't know what you would do. I haven't been either, but it sounds like it's like camping and stuff like that. I don't know what else would go on for like a senior trip.
Drinking.
Yeah. Well, they do that anyways. They
True.
probably do it at Magic Mountain.
Yeah, it's harder to get alcohol into Magic Mountain, though, I would guess.
Yeah, that's true. They have metal detectors and all that kind of good stuff.
I wouldn't know. I was stone cold sober. I was riding the highs of the Viper.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying you didn't know there were metal detectors because you're stone cold sober. I'm like, are we making a reference to you were very drunk?
No. I was saying that I
don't know about sneaking.
Yeah, I didn't have to
in.
sneak alcohol in because I did not need to be drunk because I was already going to be dizzy.
There you go. Spoken like a true wild child.
Oh, God. So dizzy. Imagine riding
Is
like
this what being drunk is?
a roller coaster like with 7 fucking flips and it at 3 a.m.
Oh, God.
Why?
Yeah. I would be dizzy as well.
My friend Aaron made me do it. Well, made me. He was like, ride it with me. And I was like, okay.
Gunpoint. He got to pass the metal detector.
And I was like, we've already ridden it twice. And he's like, one more time. And then that time I was like, ooh, I almost blacked out.
Again.
No, I did have a couple of friends knock them, like basically like black themselves out on Goliath because like.
I think that's a common thing, which is scary.
When you go to the turn.
Uh-huh. That happened to someone in my car on the aforementioned trip.
You guys took cars there?
In the car of the...
Oh, in the ride?
Of the ride.
I was like, did you guys drive yourselves?
Exactly, yeah.
We took a bus.
We grew up very affluent, okay.
Everyone got in their SUV or their Pilot.
Well, Tim got us a limo. It was great.
Yeah, we did that for a sorority trip too, where we went to Six Flags once, and I took my friend Z, and she and I got to the top of Goliath, and we were about to go down the drop, and I was like, and she's like, yeah, why are we here? And I was like, I don't know. Like, what are we doing up here? And she's like,
thought this was a good idea.
We can't get off, can we? And I was like, no, we're just gonna have to.
It's scary when you go all the way up.
Yeah, and then you wait.
Yeah,
and
it's like, haha, isn't this fun?
And then I get scared on Splash Mountain, like getting to the top of the drop.
And that Goliath is even bigger that they had to dig an underground tunnel for you to go down into.
Yeah, and it doesn't have if it just has a lap bar, it doesn't really have like the chest thing, and I don't like that. I want a chest thing on everything. I want to be covered on my lap and my chest. I would like to be sewn in.
Right, hugged like a koala.
That's what I really liked about Deja Vu, most terrifying roller coaster ever, because you went through it forwards and then backwards. But you had 3 different belts. You had one that you just like buckled in and pulled. You had a chest one and you had a lap one. You weren't getting out of that ride. I did ride it with my cousin though, and Katie, and she looked at me and she was like, "Do you think they have all of these because one time one of them failed?" And I was like, "Thanks, cool."
Right.
I'm gonna shit
Couldn't
myself
have
now.
brought this up after or before we got in line.
Yeah, like I was already on the fence about getting on this one because I'm feeling
Right.
a little lightheaded because I've never ridden an upside down roller coaster before, and now
Right.
we've ridden 7.
Well, I better wait till Emily can't get out.
But
Both times I went to Six Flags, Deja Vu is broken down, and now I think it is no more.
it
So-
is. It was sold to a different location, so they took it
Oh,
apart.
okay.
and I think it was sold to China or something like that. Apparently, that's a thing with roller coasters.
That's pretty crazy.
Like that you can like buy and sell them and send them all over.
That's so weird. It's like arcade machines.
Yeah, but I'm like, why don't they just make it again somewhere else? It's not like a dinosaur fossil where you're like, this is the only one, and like everything else is a copy. It's like
Right.
this is just metal. We could make more.
True.
But enough about my confusion on physics. And back
Well, yeah,
to
we found this old like roller coaster just like sitting here.
put it together. And,
Right. Just got a few boards. Now we got a wooden roller coaster again.
Also, okay, so we're gonna get to the carnival in a few minutes, but looking at that carnival, were you not like, this was nicer than my local fair?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Because I was like, they could have paid for their senior trip by not having that fucking carnival.
Yeah, that was really nice. Like the
Booths, the ball pit,
Yeah.
all the machines.
that was not like the quality of a usual high school carnival.
Did your high school have carnivals?
No, but if we did, it wouldn't be that nice. We didn't have carnival, or if we did, I didn't go, and I didn't know about them.
I don't think we had any.
I don't think we did.
I mean, you went to the fair if you wanted to go to a carnival.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The big Fresno Fair.
Went to Del Mar Fairgrounds, but now it's called, I think it's just called San Diego County Fair or something. Because it used to be the Del Mar Fair, but I don't know what it's called now.
Huh, yeah. Yeah, no, we had our fair, then there's the one in Fresno, and then there was the one in Visalia, because, they're all only about 30 minutes away from each other.
Well, there you go.
You can get lots of, see lots of cute baby cows.
Oh, that's cool.
And then they get sold,
Yeah.
and then they get eaten.
Well, you know who doesn't get eaten? But actually, sorry, better transition. Rewind. You know who does get eaten alive by all the student body?
Jackie.
Yes.
Poor Jackie.
I know. I always hit that. That's one thing about high school, but I mean, this is probably very on the nose, or not on the nose. It's very true. It's just like, oh, your parents did something awful or accused of doing something awful, so we take it out on you.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm pretty sure like Jackie didn't want that bus to go over,
Yeah. Like, what the fuck?
even if her father is guilty.
Yeah. And there's a lot of ignorance involved there. And that like all the teachers are letting it happen.
And participating in terms of the one teacher.
Yeah, our evil lady.
Yeah, she's like, ooh, sharpen my blades. And I mean, there's definitely a race component, as Jackie brings up too.
Mm-hmm. She was standing while black.
And it's much easier to call it. Yeah, they even use some like term of like not thug, but like something like that. I mean, they used trash.
Lurking.
Oh yeah, there you
Lurking.
go.
She said she was lurking, and Jackie goes, "You mean standing while black?"
Right. It's like,
Call a spade a spade.
It is.
But basically, Jackie's being bullied because everyone's like, "Oh, your dad's a murderer. He's the reason the bus went over." Because as we saw at the end of the last episode, Sheriff Lamb arrested him.
Yes. But I find it hilarious that like we get this scene, or we get that first scene where Madison Sinclair's in ASB making the signs, and we get the next scene of Jackie coming to school and everybody like saying shit to her, and then Madison is there to then like say shit to her. It's just like Madison's just all over the school tearing people down.
Yeah.
She's like, oh shit, I gotta be somewhere. My bat signal's going off.
Yeah. Ooh, I got someone to bully over by her car. Let me go.
Someone's having a really rough day or is low confidence. My signal's going off.
Yeah, and so Madison's like, you better not come to the carnival, and Jackie's like, I'm gonna go to the carnival.
Right.
He volunteered for French club.
Mm-hmm.
And
Gotta make that money.
We get a scene with our friend Terrence Cook
Mm-hmm.
and Keith.
Yep.
Keith is meeting with a different client who is like just trying to get someone caught for doing a slip and fall and faking an insurance claim or whatever.
Big ol' headache for Keith, it seems.
Seems very like HR, but Because it's like, oh, someone fell. Like, did they
Right.
actually fall? Like, did they actually hurt themselves? Like, that's what workers' comp, like, they have to, like, look and
Right.
see if they, like, actually hurt themselves. And I'm like, can't we just believe people? Like, it's
No.
not my money.
Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons why I'm now a career coach and not an HR professional, because I think it's bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Now you only have to triage that for me.
Exactly. I'm like,
Are you hurt?
well, and I mean,
Where did you clock out?
I mean, I caught you lying on your time card, and I had to write you up.
I know, but like I was like almost into work, and like I just called so you can like punch me in.
Yeah, but I'm the boss.
Right. Should have asked coworker Herman.
You should ask Herman. Ask our dog to punch you in.
Yeah. By the way, at a previous job, 3 people got fired for because one of them punched 2 of them in as they were coming back from lunch.
Yep, it's literally time theft in theory.
Damn, it makes it sound so much cooler than it is.
Yeah, right. I'm like, you stole time.
Right. There's time thieves all over the place.
All
Really,
I know
only
is working in corporate America stole time from my life.
there you go.
I can't get that back,
No,
but I can do good with what I've learned.
exactly.
But
And Veronica Mars podcast.
yeah, exactly. I do good with what I learned.
There you go.
That's what I'm doing here. Good. Maybe.
Yeah, that's what the comments say. Good, not great.
Yeah, it's all right. You know, they're doing their best, but by God, could they use some work?
Need more HR talk.
I'll start a podcast. There's like multiple HR podcasts. You ever
Oh,
want to be
I'm
bored to
100%.
death?
I see all the time getting email blasts of just like, this is how to start a podcast. And it's just like, I don't think my company should start a podcast. I'm going to say that right now.
Yeah, very rarely. Some of them are like good because they were like more L&D or like learning and development
Totally.
focused. But a lot of them were very dry.
Or at least like my department should not start a podcast, but like a different department, more hands-on one with stuff like that could be like pretty interesting. Like,
Yeah.
talking about industry stuff, but people are overworked already, so let's not add a 2-hour saddle to their week.
Yeah. And you have to identify if there's going to be an audience for it or if it'll be enjoyable.
Right.
People's work should be fun.
Exactly.
That's what I preach over here.
Mm-hmm.
But
Louder for the people in the back.
enough about me. More about Terrence Cook. So he's like, Keith, I need you to help prove that I didn't send the bus over the edge.
Totally.
Like, this is the evidence they have against me. And Keith's like, well, I'm going to need you to be honest with me.
Mm-hmm. And of course, Terrence is out on bail.
And then we go back to the carnival.
Yes.
And
we get our panning shots from around the carnival. We're setting the scene because something's going to happen. So we do some continuous shots to make it look like it's all one take as we go and float through, and it sets up our primary players.
well, Logan, who's never accused of stealing, is
Right.
lurking. He is lurking.
Right. Logan is having, it was very strange to watch this episode with Logan. He's having this own separate like side plot that's away from everybody else. That's very happy, hunky dory. And it's just like, what have they done to Logan? I'd never found an instance where I wanted to punch him. I wanted to hit him, where he was being evil. And it's just like, this is fucked up. I want him back. Why is this so pleasant? Why is he just like cute high school boy? Like all of a sudden, like give me some fire here.
That's what they do. The high school boy who's actually an asshole acts like that to you as the girl because you're sweet and innocent looking and blah, blah, blah. And then later they fuck you over.
Yeah. He just wants to add another blonde to his resume.
Yeah. He has a type.
Totally.
Small blondes. And most boys in the early 2000s.
Right. But I found it hilarious that he is somehow shielded from this.
This whole thing, because I'm like, he was right there, but
Right.
but I guess like, why would Logan steal money?
Totally, and that's probably what he would have said. And Veronica's like, well, no, my ex flew the coop, and this ex is doing something completely else. It can't be them.
Yeah, she's like, well,
No need to rattle that if I don't need to.
So he's watching her sell snow cones, and then he pays for his 2 snow cones because one's for Beaver. No, one's for
Dick.
And she makes a joke about having never seen a $50 bill before. It's great. So we see a $50 bill, and that's important.
Yes. Note.
Note that $50 bill for later.
Remember how I was saying we were setting the scene?
We are setting the scene.
Yes.
You and I.
Ooh.
And then he leaves, and then Weevil comes over with his niece and buys her a snow cone, and then which I'm like, yeah, like what a great day to like be out with your uncle. Like, take me to the carnival.
Totally.
You're gonna buy me some popcorn. You bought me a balloon and like I guess snow cone. Like, it's a good day for Ophelia. I think that's her name.
Yes.
I wrote it down. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd love to have it.
Uncle Weevil.
Yeah, he's probably the best.
And then Thumper comes by and bonks Weevil on the head with a balloon. Which is just, I'm like, in front of the kid.
Right. It's pretty hilarious that we get like Thumper being like evil and being like, yeah, we're gonna like kick the shit out of you last episode, and then like this, he's like literally just being like an idiot, and the entire time he's just like tickling people almost.
You're like, boop your brain, I booped you.
Gotcha. And then like when he has the snake at the end, he's just like, ew. Like,
I think, is it supposed to insinuate that he's on drugs because they're selling drugs?
Oh, really?
No, I said, is it? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think about that at all. I just thought it was hilarious that it was just like, I could totally see that. Thumper seems like the type that would show up drunk to the carnival.
Or just like a little too high.
Yeah.
And so then we also get a scene of Beaver and Mac walking around holding hands. Young love.
Yes. Young love. We didn't have another nerd type character to shack Mac up with, so here you are, Beaver.
And how dare she be a fierce, independent woman?
Yes, exactly.
Don't worry, we've got to give her trauma later too.
Yeah. She's,
foreshadowing.
Exactly.
And then Wallace comes up with his lady friend.
Yes.
Who is blonde. Introduced way earlier, back with the car scene with the whole when she was on crutches.
Right.
When he was trying to figure out who hurt. What's her name's car? Jackie's. So during all this time, Madison Sinclair is over with the Pep Squad selling pies. Pep Squad pie.
Pep Squad pie.
And their evil teacher is collecting money from all the booths because
Right. She's coming in like a mobster, collecting the vig for the month.
And they have streakers run through. And so she hands Veronica the cash box and she's like, hold this.
Right.
And so Veronica puts it in a little cubby behind the snow cone thing. And then they come back. And at this point, then Jackie came up to buy a snow cone.
Yes.
And then the teacher comes back and the money is gone.
Cash box gone.
Veronica Mars has lost the money for the senior trip.
Yes.
In 3 minutes.
She says very loudly.
Personal record. And so then formerly vice principal, now Principal Clemens.
Yes.
Comes up with our awful teacher. And
strutting up, strongman Clemens.
Yeah, I know, right? I will never forget that scene of him throwing Logan off of Weevil because, by God, it was like, oh, this man works out.
Yeah.
And the teacher's like, maybe it was Jackie because Jackie's lurking. She was lurking over here. And Jackie's like, you mean standing while black? And so we've got a mystery to solve.
Yes.
So then we go over to Logan, who is at the physics club stand, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
And their carnival game is one where you hit a little thing and it launches a little frog into a little lily pad, supposedly. Yeah. And if you hit the lily pad, you get the prize. Once again, these are like kind of nice prizes too. I'm like, how is it like what?
Right.
Who paid for the like how many people frequent this carnival to make it worth putting it on?
Right. Expendable income from parents.
Yes, but then why don't they just donate the money? It seems like a lot of pageantry.
Right. No,
experience, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And then exactly. You're gonna earn that money as we give you a giant leg up by buying you, like, for instance, Madison Claire, all these pies.
We used to in my sorority, we'd volunteer at Isla Vista Elementary's carnival, and we'd do a booth there. But like cool. We volunteered to do a booth. We had like one that they assigned it to. Like they had all the stuff, so it wasn't quite like this where it's like, and here's this beautiful ornate. It was like you threw little rings onto bottles or something.
Yeah, one of those.
I
like,
gave
simple
every
ones.
kid a prize because
Yeah, I mean,
they're little.
Uh-oh. Is that going to be a problem?
I don't. Do you think we should cut it?
Maybe.
If you got a blue ribbon in Ivy Elementary, you earned it.
I don't want that elementary coming after me.
Well, on the bright side, they're probably only, if they were like 7 then, they're in high school now. They're not listening to this podcast.
Okay. No, I meant the administration.
Oh. I mean, you're already teaching in Isla Vista. Isn't that enough?
True.
But yeah, so we've got our carnival. We've got our scene. Logan's flirting with the girl at the physics stand,
Yes.
who is
Hannah.
She is a Veronica offshoot.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously her own individual in person, but
Right.
in this particular instance, it is supposed to be made very obvious that she's like the innocent foil of Veronica.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Where it's like she doesn't date. She saves dates for like special occasions. We dig into that later, but like it's like she's got standards. We like a girl with standards. I
Exactly.
mean, you don't have to have standards. You can have whatever standards you want, but we support her in this decision.
Totally.
We love a woman who knows what she wants.
Mm-hmm. And I'm assuming we get something later that is just like, I'm new to the school, but like, how does everybody not know who Logan is? You know what I mean?
She might like know of him, but not know him.
Right.
So she's like, he's flirting with me. But
Totally. Oh my God, it's Logan Eccles.
Ooh, I can't wait to marry Rich.
Right. Exactly. He's probably got a lot of trauma.
Ooh, I love boys with baggage.
Yeah, exactly. Currently serving life sentences.
But yeah, so then he's flirting with her. He calls her a princess, all that shit. Just very, very sweet, sweet romantic boy. And you're like, a game is afoot.
It's like, this isn't Logan.
Yeah, this doesn't feel right.
Yeah, say something mean.
Yeah, do something awful to her.
Yeah.
I mean, he is kind of manipulative, but like.
Right. Yeah.
It's also how boys that were flirting talked in the early 2000s.
Totally. High school. Yeah.
So then Veronica begins looking for the cash box, and she's
who does she start with?
She starts with Weevil because racial profiling is abundant this episode.
Yeah. She pretty much says, empty your bag slightly.
And she's like, let me check your niece's backpack, basically. And so Weevil's like, just show her your bag,
Right. And it is so annoying in an otherwise good episode that it's just like, of course it has to be Weevil at the end, even if he's not doing it to just steal money. But,
But the cash box is not in our little friend Ophelia's backpack. So Veronica's like, I'm sorry, and moves on. And then Keith and Terrence Cook are still having their conversation about Keith helping Terrence prove he's innocent.
Yeah. This helped me like identify. I'm like, okay, I'm going to write it down so I remember exactly why Terrence is being tried. Is that they found fragments from that like related to Terrence Cook, because on the day of the bus crash, they visited the stadium when he was down there. Terrence was down there talking to Woody about being a commentator for the Shark season and signed a lot of baseballs. So Terrence says those baseballs and fibers and like my fingerprints on those things ended up in the bus, like because of because of the bus crash. So they think I like planted the explosives on there. That's their connecting evidence.
Exactly. And so Keith's like, I'm gonna need you to be honest. That's his whole thing the whole time.
Yes. Yeah, I love that. It's tremendous. Great part of this episode.
And then we go back to the snow cone booth where Mac and Beaver are sitting behind it, and Veronica's like, where's Jackie? And they're like, oh, she borrowed a screwdriver and she's gone because they needed the screwdriver because the snow cone thing was broken. So Veronica goes to follow Jackie. She's like, this is suspicious. And she hears Jackie.
I need to eliminate the minority suspects first before I start going after the white suspects.
In this case, it was because of the screwdriver, but it is still awful.
Just the series of events.
Yeah. The writers, I'm just like, this was problematic, my dudes.
Totally.
And it was dudes.
Yeah. But at least, Veronica in this episode is a lot of, I'm wrong, and I apologize.
Yeah, it's like, I'm trying, and that was a swing and a miss. And so she follows Jackie into the bathroom, and she hears Jackie using the screwdriver against something. And she's like, hey, Jackie, what are you doing? And then Jackie's like, putting on my bathing suit for the dunk tank. And Veronica's like, you don't usually need a screwdriver for that. And Jackie comes out and hands it to her, and she's like, I know. So Veronica looks in the stall, and she was just crossing out some graffiti that was saying that Jackie was a questionable bad word that we can only guess or fill in the blanks from here, but we know it was not cool.
Yeah, it was not a glowing review.
In the bathroom stall. You never leave your reviews of people in the bathroom stall.
No, I only write nice things.
Oh, you leave compliments?
Right, if someone's like, fuck John, then I like cross out John, and I go like, John is a great person, and I've known him for a very long time.
John was the best fuck I've ever had.
Exactly, yeah. Or people that are just like, Ellen has an inhospitable workplace, and I cross it out, and I go, Ellen's always been nice to me.
Your opinion obviously doesn't matter. Yeah, a little toxic positivity, just gloss right over the negatives.
Yeah, I don't want to read negativity while I'm pooping.
And then you're already getting rid of the negativity during that process.
Exactly,
you don't need to keep any more around.
Yes.
And then Jackie goes out to do the dunk tank, and I'm like, what administrator was like, you know what, we're gonna let this girl do this after what happened?
I bet it was the same administrator that is like called and said she was lurking.
That's not an administrator though. That's a teacher.
True.
Clemens could put a stop to all of this.
Yeah, Clemens, he really is running not a tight ship, very loose ship. He comes down hard and relies too much on outside people to fix his problems.
Live and let live is Clemens' lifestyle.
Much. Laissez-faire at Neptune High.
Exactly. It's very strange. So then we go back to Keith and Terrence, who are now having a beer and talking a little bit more about this. And we find out that Keith used to watch Terrence back when he was in the minor leagues in Fresno, which meant that Terrence technically played for the Fresno Grizzlies, which
Go
is
Grizzlies.
my favorite place to get Dippin' Dots in all of the Central Valley.
Hell yeah.
They come in a baseball hat.
Yeah, that's some of the best parts about going to baseball stadiums.
Yes.
Dippin' Dots in a baseball hat.
Yes, and the Fresno, I mean, like, there's no one there half the time because it's
100.
And it's 104.
Oh, right. Never mind. Excuse me, minor leagues. I'm sorry, you didn't need that. That was underhanded.
It was Fresno, but I did have a guy in high school, one of the best high school dates I went on, or like right after I graduated, whatever. And he took me to a Fresno Grizzlies game and bought me Dippin' Dots. And
John Dippin' Dots.
I was like, yep, yeah, that's John Dippin' Dots. I don't think I dated anyone named John.
Oh, okay.
No. But yes, the Dippin' Dots were the highlight of that whole ordeal. Probably the relationship, honestly, if we're being candid. You know, you're 18. There's not a lot going on.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But anyway, enough about my 18-year-old dating life from a decade ago, and more about Keith, who was a deputy in Fresno at that time, at age 22.
And I'm assuming this helps answer my question from previous of like,
where's Keith from?
Yeah, so I would assume he's from Central Valley at the least.
Do you think Keith is from Hanford?
He might be. That's why we like him so much.
What if he's a homegrown boy?
What if he's Portuguese?
What if he's Portuguese?
That's our headcanon. Keith Mars, Portuguese.
Yeah, I don't think the last name.
Mars family from the Azores.
I mean, I don't know. My grandfather's last name was Portugal, and when you think about it, you're like, well, I mean, did they mess up when his family came over on the boat where you put what on what line, or
maybe they're all in line, and his grandfather was like Portugal, or your
whoever came over.
Yeah, it was like Portugal, and then his friend right behind him is just like, okay, you did Portugal, I'll do you one better. I'm not even from this planet, Mars.
That's the kind of humor I like to imagine my family that
engaging in at Ellis Island.
Engaging in. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't know a lot about that side because my grandmother came over, so she has her story. But my grandpa, he was already in the valley and he was born in the U.S., so his parents came over, I believe. But it's like one of those things where you're like, and if you Google the last name Portugal, it does you no fucking good.
Right. I can imagine.
Let me tell you, that family history is confusing. But enough about details that would allow you to stalk me. And I'm not worried about it. There's about a couple thousand of us out there.
There are dozens of us.
But yeah, so maybe Keith is Portuguese.
Exactly.
I have to ask my mom. She'll know. She always knows.
Nope.
I don't know. Hold on. Let me. Well, nah. It's probably an Okie. That's, when you're Portuguese, you're not white. You're Portuguese.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, enough about my family pretending like they're different.
Right.
And we still get white privilege. It's fine. We're all going to be okay. Back to the carnival.
But so they're having the beer to finish off that scene. And then Keith does the, trying to suss out if it's the boy who cried wolf, and is going, "Have you told me everything, Terrence?" And Terrence goes, "Yes, I have." And it's just like, okay, so tell me about your relationship with the journalism teacher that died on the bus. And he's like, crap, you got me.
Yeah. And then we go back to Predator Logan, who is going after the very young-looking girl. She looks like a freshman. I know we looked up her age and she was 22.
No, she 20? Was 20.
But because the rest of these people playing 18-year-olds are like 25. Right. So like that gap is noticeable.
Right. In the Wikipedia article, when I was looking up this episode and any production behind the scenes, she said the set was very clean. Kristen Bell was amazing. And it was like they were shooting their own little breakfast club.
Oh, that's cute.
I'm like, oh, that seems very nice.
Yeah, that seems very cordial.
Yeah. I thought that's like, well, the first thing I'm going to say is it was clean because I don't have anything else to say.
And Logan's like, flirting with her. He's like, you should come hang out with me instead of your friends. And
we should go see my friend Dick. And we all go like, no. You should not.
It made it sound like he was going to send her a dick pic.
Oh. Honestly.
Do you think Logan's the type of guy that sent unsolicited dick pics?
No, but Dick did.
Yeah, Dick did for sure.
Yeah. The entire female student body at Neptune has probably received an unsolicited dick pic from Dick.
Or an email at this point, because this was the early 2000s.
True. Well, no, people still have cell phones.
Yeah, but like the text image of like, I feel like a lot of the mass sendings have been through email on this.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Because you get school emails.
Yeah, that's so weird. That's crazy.
We didn't have school email. It was just until college.
Yep.
And then they took that away when we graduated.
Yeah, they were super quick about it. It's like, you got a month, and then this is gone.
Yeah. It's so weird because I know like certain grad schools let you keep them.
Yeah, I think my sister still has access to hers.
That's so weird. And we're like, nope, goodbye.
Yep, nope. You're out of here. Scat.
You served your time, and now you may no longer correspond with your professors.
Exactly. Better change those accounts.
But yeah, so weird shit's happening with Logan. My next note is I would die at this school, and I don't know why. What do you think that was in regards to?
I don't know. Are we thinking about talking about Wallace strolling up to the dunk tank booth after Jackie has been like repeatedly dunked?
Oh, you know what I think it was? I think it was the Jackie being repeatedly dunked. Because I was like, so Jackie volunteered to be in the dunk tank, and then people come up and pay to knock her in the dunk tank, which is like, the whole purpose of a dunk tank. But people are mad because supposedly her dad is the reason why the bus went over, so we should punish her.
But Jackie, the savvy businesswoman that she is like, oh, they're going to pay so much more money. That's not the reason she's doing this, but...
But yeah, she was like, well...
It's kind of like the scene from Airplane, if you all remember that 1970-something classic, where there's a line of people waiting to beat up the lady who's having a freak out on the plane. It's kind of like that.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And the teachers and adults that are there are laughing and participating. And I'm like, I can't...
Look at the girl fall.
I think that's why I was like, I would die at the school, because I would just scream at everyone. I would be like, what the... And like her friend was just like, yeah, like I'll just help you work it. Right.
You know what this school would do, actually?
What?
These kids are bad enough that they would have been throwing peanuts at you.
That happened to me in high school. You know that, right? There was a kid who did not like me. He was mean, and he would throw peanuts at me in history class. And I had to threaten to get police involvement because I have a deathly, like, anaphylactic peanut allergy. And he'd throw peanut M&Ms at me.
Yeah, that's awful.
And I'm like, what? Like, I'm sorry, I'm smarter than you and I'm pretty. Like, get over it.
Right.
I never
no reason
figured
to
out
kill
why
someone.
he hated me.
That's weird.
Because it's not like we talked.
Maybe this is like
Maybe
the kid from this episode. He was 0.3 of a point behind you.
He was not. This kid was dumb as a fucking board. He was throwing peanuts at me in class, Brenton. He wasn't learning.
Yeah, there you go.
And I mean, like, sure, he was in my honors. I think it was honors history, but I don't think he made it to AP. And let me tell you, if you wanted to be in the AP class, you could get in.
Mm-hmm.
There weren't any.
I see.
The school was not cream of the crop. You know, some winners.
Yeah.
You're exactly.
Some losers.
A lot of fucking losers. And that's why I don't expect to be invited to the 10-year reunion. No, you know, you got to know your worth. And sometimes it's worth yelling at the kid in your class who's throwing peanut M&Ms at you. And sometimes it's worth getting the administrators involved.
There you go.
And sometimes it's worth threatening to get him kicked off the baseball team.
If it's peanut M&Ms, of course. Yeah.
I went straight to my vice principal, and he took me very seriously, even though the rest of the school did not, because I had 4,002 dress code violations.
Do you know how much your vice principal could bench?
I don't, and I wish I remembered his name because I loved him.
Okay.
But I feel like if I asked, you know, he was very much like Vice Principal Clemens. Like he was.
Oh, there you go.
He was like, Emily, I'm not
Spinning kids over his head because he was that strong.
Exactly. He was like, you know what? I know they told me that you're supposed to do in-school suspension because your shorts were too short, but like you're 5 feet tall, and like if you wore shorts that were an inch underneath your knee, you'd be wearing pants. And it was like, good day, sir.
Thank you.
I appreciate your understanding. Also, like, I'm so sorry I have a body.
Right.
I'm distracting the boys. Well, really? Because the one throwing peanuts at me is pretty fucking distracting.
Yeah, and that had nothing to do with your shorts.
It had nothing to... Well, maybe it did. Maybe he wanted me and he just didn't know how to handle his
Or no.
feelings.
Maybe it was the opposite. Cover your legs.
I never understood it. To this day, like, I wish I could... I wonder why he was like that.
Strange.
He was just a weird boy.
But speaking of good boys,
Uh-huh.
Herman's on the couch. But good boys in the human sense. Wallace strolls up and he's just like, "Ooh, this is gonna be fun." He's got a big smirk on his face.
He's got a lovely lady on his arm who's not Jackie.
And he's just like, "Okay, give me the balls," and then immediately just starts chucking them into the parking lot.
Yeah, I like that you hear a car alarm go off too. Like you hit a parked car.
Yes, I'm glad he's committed to this. And then bids Jackie adieu.
And they kick him out because he threw too many balls away.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, way to go, Wallace.
Yeah, love that.
Then Mac and Beaver having a good time. And then Dick wanders up and decides to be the biggest asshole on the face of the planet because, you know, it's Dick. And tries to say that Beaver is this gross, nerdy dude with sweaty palms that is a virgin and all these other reasons that Mac shouldn't be with him, which really riles Beaver and leaves him feeling emasculated in front of Mac in his own little stew pot, even though Mac's just kind of like, I mean, your brother's a dick.
Yeah, it's literally his fucking name.
Yeah.
Why is that not a line?
Yeah, I know.
Like, live up to your name.
Yeah.
And then we continue looking into who stole the cash box, and Veronica's like, "Ooh, Vice Principal Clemens, I bet it's in the ball pit. It's a good place to hide it." And while we get this scene, we also see Thumb trying to win the snake.
Yes, this is another scene of...
Yeah, he really wants the stuffed snake. He's like, why did you say it's just for kids? And
yeah,
I'm like,
I want a snake.
Like, I don't think anyone said that.
Right. I'm sure many people said it to him.
And so they empty the ball pit, but there's nothing there.
Another instance of Veronica being just slightly off.
She's like, well, shit. And the teacher's like, why do you listen to like a high school student for investigation advice? Blah, blah, blah.
Clemens is like, I know a thing.
Yeah, he looked at her and he was like, whatever.
Yeah.
And so then they have a little meeting. Okay. No, so then while they're talking, a student runs up to Clemens and says that he has footage. They were filming for the virtual yearbook.
Yeah, another thing. What?
I'm sorry.
Is that like the type of like collage that they do? Like we remember over.
I don't know. You mean like I thought that was just like a picture, like collage.
Oh yeah,
a
that
virtual
actually
yearbook
make more
would be
sense.
videos. So
I got interviewed to be on our CHS TV, on our campus news for like.
God, you rich kids have everything.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
We didn't even have a newspaper because we couldn't get enough kids to write it.
Yeah, the education system is fucked in this country. And I am a product of that. But on the opposite end of like the things that it's like, everybody should have this. But yes, we had campus news. And so I was interviewed for like saying goodbye, seniors, because Brady was in the news one. And so we had this great setup in senior year because a bunch of us were in yearbook. And then we had Brady in the news one. So we could pull kids out of class all the time. And then eventually there was one English teacher that eventually had to tell multiple of us, it's like, I know what you're doing. Just stop. You can't keep doing this. Like, we need to keep having people in class. And eventually it was like, okay, we will no longer do that on this period.
But yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah. God. I was very, very lucky and very, very privileged.
Yeah, my public school education was, fine. The teachers were good and all that jazz, but yeah, they couldn't keep anything going. I wanted to write for the school newspaper, but I would have had to have written the entire newspaper.
Oh God. I don't know if we had a newspaper.
I think at one point, like, we did, and then, like, as people left, you know what I mean? Like, it came and it went.
Right.
It was like the Bullpup Bulletin or something like that.
Oh, that's good.
I know. Maybe
That's a
it
good
wasn't
one.
that. If not, should I start writing for
Yes.
the Hanford High newspaper?
Please. Please.
10 years post-grad, still here.
Right.
Are your shorts too short? Doesn't matter. We're doing school from home.
First story. It'll be over soon.
Yeah, one time I got asked a lot, like, how I felt about high school by the teachers and
Right.
people, and I was always like, it's purgatory.
Mm-hmm.
And people are real worried about my mental health, and I was like, no, I'm just like waiting.
She's having delusions of the afterlife.
I'm like, no, I'm just waiting to go to college, which I assume will be better.
Uh-huh.
It was, in fact. If high school is the best years of your life, you're doing it wrong. Go to college.
Just do something else.
Go to college. If high school's great, college will be even better.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Or if high school sucks, it's okay. College will be even better. I promise you, college is a much better place. I mean, university-wise, I think I guess it would depend on like this number of kids in the school you go to and like what kind, like, if you're an atheist, don't go to a Christian college. It won't make it better.
Right. And if you don't want to be around a lot of people, then maybe go to a smaller school.
Or if you just want to be lost in a sea of a lot of people, then go to a big school.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, enough about my education suggestions. Yeah, so they have a virtual yearbook, and there's a kid who was filming the whole time, so they have footage of who was around the time when the cash box went missing.
Right. So we gather up our crew of usual suspects, which is Dick, Jackie, Madison, new kid.
Is Dick there?
Yes. Because Dick is in the video. You see Dick win whatever thing at the beginning, and he just like sits there and smiles proudly to everybody. He's not important. Weevil, and I think that is it.
And Madison Sinclair and that guy.
Yeah. I mentioned them.
Okay. And Veronica's like, well, so the teacher's like, yeah, we'll search all their lockers, and Clemens is like, like whoever, like.
Mm-hmm.
And
first she takes an opportunity to be racist. It's like, Jackie's holding something.
Oh, in the video.
Uh-huh.
And Jackie's like, yeah, my gym bag for my bathing suit.
Right.
And so they're like, well, how will we know if it's the money if we find money in someone's locker? Because Dick's like, yeah, like I carry thousands of dollars, and so is the other kid.
Right.
And
Close one.
I almost knocked everything over. And Veronica's like, well, I got a $50 bill, and it had the name Nancy and a phone number on it, which is an important thing to remember.
Right. And wouldn't be surprising for someone with a $50 bill to be a Nancy Reagan fan.
It's true. That's definitely what it was. It's not that they wrote their name and a phone number.
Yep. Nance.
Nance
Who's fans. So then back at Mars Investigations, we get Terrence and coming clean to Keith that it was an extramarital affair with the journalism teacher, and that it was a fatal attraction scenario, and that she was going to ruin his life, and then did, or at least came clean to like his then current partner who dumped him and all kinds of stuff like that. And then so we get another refresher of like, God or Jesus testing Judas, and it's just like, Terrence, are you going to betray me? In this sense, it's Terrence, are you still lying? And he goes, no, I'm not still lying. So then Keith plays the clip of Lamb interrogating Terrence, and he's like,
him manipulating him.
Right. He's like, God damn it. Okay, I'll sit back down.
Yeah. And also before that, we get a scene of Beaver and Mac looking at escorts.
Oh, yes. Right.
I
didn't write that down because
it's the worst plotline ever.
Yep.
So they begin to investigate, and they search the lockers, and they end up searching the auto shop.
Yeah, because Veronica's like, wait a minute. Hey, Weevil, isn't it weird that like someone would be able to like break open lockers? Like, wouldn't they need like access to things like you did when you wrapped a car around a pole in the first season? And he's like, well, you should just check everybody because we all have copies of keys to like the auto shop. So then she's like, So they go in there and then they check all the lockers in the auto shop.
And they find some money in Thumper's locker.
Yes.
Including a $50 bill with Nancy on it.
Mm-hmm. And also a bag of unidentifiable pills.
Which we find out later are Excedrin.
Exactly.
So they also find a paddle, basically, that has license plate numbers on it.
Yes. Very odd indeed.
And so Veronica sneaks into Clement's office and takes a photocopy of it.
Yes.
Because she wants those license plate numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And while she's there on the photocopier, she finds a test that has the answers to that teacher that we don't like's next test in the photocopier.
Right. Would that be
the answer
Excuse
key?
me, the answer key. Yeah.
Which doesn't make any sense. I guess they snuck it out to photocopy it.
Right. Because then, eventually we learn that it's he's been doing this.
Mm-hmm. So then Veronica is walking out with the paper, and she's like, ooh. She sees Jackie, and she's like, Jackie, do you want to watch me ruin Miss whatever evil pants name is life? And Jackie's like, yeah, I'd love to. So Veronica's like, hey, I was making a copy in the copy room, and I found this. And the teacher's like, where'd you get that? And Veronica's like, in the copier, in the copy room. And she's like, who has access to your code? And the teacher's like, only my TAs, which is JB, the guy from the beginning that we don't like.
Yes.
And so Veronica's like, I'm going to go talk to JB in the hallway, and then he's going to come back and confess. And everyone's like, what the fuck? And so she takes him in the hallway, and she's like, hey, remember how you're a Triton? Well, I promised one Triton that I would never tell anybody, but he's, gone.
Uh-huh.
So it looks like I have free range to say what I want. So I'm going to rat the Tritons out, and I'm going to put it up on your website, your homepage. And he's like, I don't have a homepage. And she's like, you will. And she's like, because I know what the Tritons do to people who rat them out. She's like, or you can confess.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, yeah, he comes back and he confesses. Miss Hauser. I found her name.
Oh, nice.
Woo.
There you go.
So then while he's confessing, Veronica notices a glittery footprint on a desk and a trash can.
Yes. Isn't that interesting?
So she climbs up on a trash can on a desk, which I'm just like, oh, God. No. And
I wanted to be there and be like, no, you get down.
Pokes the ceiling tile thing, and we find money.
Money.
And it looks like Miss Hauser has been hiding money in the ceiling of her classroom. She was skimming off the top of the cash box.
Isn't that interesting?
But it's just the money. It's not the cash box. And it's just
Right.
some money. It's not all of it.
Mm-hmm. So before she even handed the cash box to Veronica, she was already skimming off money.
Yep. And they know it's her because the glitter on the floor and like is her shoe print. It's her heel.
Yes.
So it matches her shoe.
And it fits, so we couldn't acquit.
Exactly. And Vice Principal, or now Principal Clemens, is like, well, this is why I listen to students.
Yep.
We're going to need to talk about this in my office.
Good job, Veronica. You will not get paid or any sort of extra thing for this.
But I probably won't suspend you next time you do something.
Right.
So yeah. So that wraps up.
Yes.
But Veronica's like, there's still a little piece of this that's missing. But everyone else is like, yay, solution.
Right. I mean, that's forever the fate of the private detective of knowing this isn't quite wrapped up.
The truth.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it'll all come back to that $50 bill with Nancy on it.
Exactly.
But anyway, so then Logan's on his cute little moment with his girl.
Yep.
They have slushies together. It's just sweet, you know.
Yep.
And then he's like, you know what? I will take you on a real date, because she said that wasn't a real date because they just hung out.
Right.
Which I agree. I concur. Woo me.
Mm-hmm. They do that, that pitter patter thing of like, I'm being, fake argue, but
Yeah. Haha, flirting. That's how I flirted in high school. That's why I was so pumped.
Flirting.
Oh my God.
Look at us.
Maybe I should pretend to be dumb and it'll make me prettier.
There you go.
No, don't do that ever.
Mm-mm.
Never. If a man can't handle your big, beautiful brain, he doesn't deserve you.
No. Out the door.
Exactly. But so Logan's like, okay, well, I'm gonna kiss you goodbye just in case you don't kiss on the first date.
Wink.
Which I was like, damn, that's a good line.
Mm-hmm.
It's not it's still like, did you ask for consent? No, but good line. But then as the car pulls up to pick her up, it's her dad, and he is the doctor that works with the Fitzpatricks, who's the star witness who says he saw Logan on that bridge.
Uh-huh. The plot thickens.
But Logan doesn't know that.
Yes,
Does he? Logan doesn't know who what the guy looks like.
I thought he does.
Oh, he does. He does.
Yeah, because he's like, that guy, because he knows for certain, he's like, that guy wasn't there.
Mm-hmm. And then we cut over to Dick, who has a woman waiting for him by his car, and he gets in his car to hook up with this woman who says that she's there to pick up her stepdaughter.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's that whole like, oh, it's secretly a trans person doing sex work, and so there's a whole scene about Dick being upset about kissing like a man in quotes, which is super fucking offensive.
Yeah, it's awful. Yeah,
So
that
fucking
like there's
offensive.
some sort of like straight entrapment.
Yeah,
It's gross, and then
Yeah.
it's just like, haha, look at you.
yeah, and Beaver sets him up for it.
Right.
So that's
you made up with it. Yeah, exactly. And Mac and like Beaver are like, haha, isn't this funny?
yeah, it's fucking gross, and it's the worst, and I hate it. I hate it so much. And this is the problem with the not having accurate portrayal of people as people in shows, and only using
trans people as props.
Yeah, trans people as or plot drivers, or like almost like comedic relief. It's just, it's so dehumanizing.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's supposed to be funny that because it's
disgusting.
this like other.
Yeah, and we do not support the treatment of trans people that way. We think that everyone's worthy of being treated like a person,
right,
and not a plot driver.
And Dick should suck it up if he's fucking attracted to her.
Yeah, or but there also shouldn't have been any setup, like a straight entrapment.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
for Beaver and Mac,
for thinking that it's like, haha, look at this fun thing we're doing.
Yeah, it's funny. It's not funny. And then we come back over to Torrance and Keith.
Terrence.
Torrance is what I wrote.
The city.
Yep. And Keith is like, you still haven't told me everything.
So I can't work for you.
So I can't work for you. And so then Terrence tells him about him throwing a game as a baseball player
Mhm.
because of gambling.
Yeah, a championship game, the ALCS. So that's the conference series.
So
Very big.
then it's the next day. We're at school.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, but Keith, I just wanted to like Keith like lets out all his frustrations on him, but it's still like, I'm gonna support. I'm gonna help you because you wouldn't like even if you did this, like you wouldn't like kill children.
Yeah. Like you did bad things, but you're not a monster.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it depends on where you draw the line at monster.
Right. Exactly. You weren't a murderer.
Yeah. And so then we go to school the next day, and Weevil pulls up in a new car.
Yeah.
And Veronica's like, I know how you did it, but I don't know how you did it because like Weevil got a new car.
Right. And he's like, well, this is how I did it.
And he's like, yeah, so I hid. He's like, the cash box was in the two places you looked. It was in her backpack, and then we moved it to the ball pit. I just was one step ahead of you the whole time. And then he's like, and she's like, and the $50 bill, I made that up. There was no Nancy on it. And he's like, yeah, that's why I had to sneak in there, write Nancy on a $50 bill that I planted in the locker, so they thought it was all of the money. And I'm just like, damn, Weevil.
Yeah.
And then he's like, if you knew it was me, why didn't you turn me in? Because is it a love thing or like a lust thing? And she's like, it's my love for roller coasters. And I'm like, that's right. Control the power, baby.
Yeah.
She's like, it's got nothing to do with you.
But, you know, we all love Weevil.
We love Weevil, but like he's also, you know,
Yeah.
not a love interest per se.
Totally. But, you know, he's playing 4-dimensional chess, getting Thumper.
In trouble for having Excedrin.
Exactly. Stealing money.
Yes. But yeah, so weird episode, but strange characters in terms of Logan. Why, like, who is he? Who is this boy? What's he doing here?
Right, exactly.
Like
I said, fucked up. Want him back.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. So, anything you want to add before?
No, I think that's it.
Shall we plug?
Yes.
You can find me at butreallythough.com. Though is spelled THO. Leave off the U, the G, and the H. We don't need them here. You can also find me at butreallythough on YouTube, all one word, or butreallythough on Instagram, BTRLYTHO. I post life and career coaching content. I have one-on-one options available. I have some career coaching programs available. There's a whole plethora of things. So find me on a platform and message me if you have questions. And I'm also running a discount for anyone who is unemployed because of COVID, because that fucking sucks, man.
Indeed.
And you can find us on our other podcast, but really, though, it is not related to career coaching. It is related to the paranormal, tall tales, urban legends, myths, and stuff we didn't learn in history. Sometimes fact, sometimes fiction, sometimes both, sometimes question marks.
Exactly.
A lot of mystery.
Big old pot.
Yeah.
You can find this podcast on Twitter and Facebook at Mars Rewatch. And you can also send us an email at marsrewatch@gmail.com. And you can find me on Twitter at Pyle Brenton. It's Pyle.
Stay toasted marshmallows.